All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. It is May 15th on a Monday, 2023. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join me this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the YouTube channel. If you missed our last video, it was not a streaming video. It was the recap of the week. Went over some of the trades, the market, and previewed the week. So if you want to kind of catch up on last week and kind of see what we're going on for this week, feel free to check out that last video we did on YouTube. And so you don't miss any future videos, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. If you like these videos, good morning, Zoom Balloon. Good morning, Farnia. I wish I had a lot more info to speak about today, but it really isn't tons. Dow futures up 42, NASDAQ up 28, S&P up about 0.17%, pretty much just flat across the board. The Russell up about a quarter point, crude oil up 0.77%, gold futures flat 2020, silver futures 24.26. Good morning. Dollar yen 136 up about 29 pips. Euro dollar up about 27 pips as well. Wow. Pound dollar up 56 pips, 125.05. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a push. That's going to help my merit position at least. 27,455. Ethereum 1826. 10-year treasury yields 3.493, again below the 3.5 mark. 102.47 for the dollar at about 0.20%. You can see the breakout on the hourly. Let's see if we could pull back here on the dollar, getting a little bit of a push higher. The volatility index pretty much just fat and flat since what, last Thursday? That big push, and we pulled back. We're up 3.5% this morning on the VIX, 1762. Let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P 500. There it is, 3950, fat and flat. Not much going on. You could kind of look at this in many ways. You could see that we're pretty much just stuck on the hourly. On the 4-hour, we're still at least on an uptrend. And if we look at the daily here, you can see that we're still kind of fat and flat, really since last June, last May. And if we go over the 3 weeks, excuse me, the 3-year weekly chart, pretty much flat as well. You can still see that 4203 level. We're still waiting on that break. So S&P pretty much just flat. Everything is on the NASDAQ because that's where all the money's going at this point. You can see this nice little trend line here, kind of holding on to some points, 13,422, continuing that trek higher. Really what we're looking for, again, is the weekly 100-week moving average. 13,456 is what we're looking for. We broke above that last week. Question is, do we get above? And then if we do, 13,626 is your next resistance, which is the August highs on the NASDAQ. Kind of tough for other parts of the market. Let's take a look at small caps. Small caps is pretty much going the opposite direction of the NASDAQ. You could see the Russell below 1800, now at 1751. We're below the 50, below the 200, below the 20, below the 100, pretty much below all major moving averages. And now you have a death cross, pretty much death cross since March. And you can see here the 50 below the 200 weekly MA. If we go to the daily, you can see the death cross hit on the 21st of April on the daily. So expecting the Russell to at least get back below 1702. The question is, do we get at least a little bit of a melt top? Does the NASDAQ really pull the broader market and maybe get RTY to catch some bids? Really, the question is about the banks. So we can go to Bank of America. You could see here on the daily continuing to head to the downside. Look at the weekly here. Same deal. You have a gap to fill at 24.96. So we're going to keep an eye on that. JPM. I'm a shareholder of JPM. You could see on the daily here. We're still not yet at a death cross, but we're really testing the 50-day moving average. We can see that we're below now. The 50-day moving average is what, 133.72. We're right up on that. So we want to see if we go ahead and actually break that 50-day. JPM is on the watch list, I believe, this week. In terms of gaps, I think there's one major gap here. Where is this gap here? Let me see the daily. There it is. There's your gap. There's your earnings gap at 130.48. If we break below 133, I think JPM is worth a short. And we're going to be taking a look at the 131 target, or 130.50 level, we'll just call it. That's your gap to fill on JPM. If we break the 50-day, I'm going to put the alert here, 133.95. We'll do 133.75 just to confirm. put that below. So that's on the watches today is JPM. Only issue is because you're kind of getting a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders. So again, if we hold that neckline, let's say 133 or so, we can possibly bounce. Could, at least based on the chart patterns, if anything. Let's take a look at the mega caps now. Apple starting, how about this, guys? Apple market cap is now worth more than the Russell 2000 total market cap. That's happened before and it fell. So probably getting a little long in the tooth on an Apple as well. 175 being very, very big resistance. Could we get to 180? Absolutely. But we're kind of running out of room. So again, I can't say, oh, short here. But again, if we break below 170.31, it'd probably be a good level to do so and to start seeing if we get a pullback on the NASDAQ, if it hits resistance or not. But that's where we are, guys. Again, pretty much fat and flat. I do have some positions open. Again, I went over that on Friday. So we'll see if the dollar pulls back. Probably gets us around below the 102 area. The NASDAQ can at least push a little higher. But let's go over the seasonality. This is the pre-election seasonality. Election year is 2024. So this is probably the better analog. Average year you could see at the bottom. Average year, you could see kind of a little bit of a pullback in May. If we look into the seasonality part of the pre-election year of May, right around this point here, midpoint of the month, we get a little bit of a pullback. So the expectation is we might get a little bit of a pullback this week, and then towards the end of May, May being a softer month, we're going to head up into June and probably run up into the first week of June, get a little bit of a pullback, and then continue. That's pretty much right where FOMC is. So towards the tail end where we get to Memorial Day, that's where we'll probably get a little more of a rise. This week, maybe a little sideways. So again, we're just going to go and play it that way and just be careful. That's it. One recommendation is maybe cut those position sizes this week because it's just not tons of action. So again, if you are trading, I'm not expecting tons, but if you do, take half of what your usual position is. If it's 500, do 250. If it's 400, do 200. Exactly. That's going to be a good barometer because there's just not a lot going on, at least this morning. Now, if we get something changes, that's fine. But in terms of this morning, it's just not tons going on. I mean, I'm looking at some headlines. Paul Tudor Jones says the Fed is done raising rates, stocks set to finish higher. The pause. I think that's kind of the same thing we've been saying really since I think the pause I called for was in March. So again, I'm a little early. But I agree with Mr. Jones that we do go a little higher, probably test those August highs. But yeah, at the end of the day, it just I don't see them raising rates a lot more than they are now because inflation now is below the Fed funds rate, which is the CPI. So CPI being below the Fed funds rate, that is usually the case where we pause. So a pause is happening, in my opinion. A cut is not happening this year, but a pause is definitely in the cards. So in terms of the FOMC, that's what we're kind of looking for. That won't happen really till next month. Let me see. Let me get to Forex Factory and take a look. Let's go to next month. We'll apply settings. Do we have? Yep, we have FOMC on the 14th of June. And if we go to the seasonality pitch here of June, that's right around here where we get a nice little bump. So probably that's more than likely the time they're going to pause is right in June. If we do pause in June, then we'll get a little bit of a bump up in terms of seasonality. But I'm expecting this here, which is a little bit of a pullback, nothing crazy, maybe 40, 60, maybe 4,000. May not happen this week, maybe over a series of a couple days. So again, all we're looking for is reversals. That's it. We're just trying to ping pong and catch these small moves. But again, we're going to lower the position size this week and do it that way so we can at least be careful since there's not much going on. We'll go and leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your morning, and we will catch you guys for the morning note tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bloggers, I do have, here's some stuff that I sent out to you. I forgot to say good morning. Good morning, bloggers. So I will see you guys on Discord, and we'll go from there. Have a great rest of your morning. I will see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.